welcome to another episode of Moonranker. I'm Paul,
I'm Mark.
and this is Moonranker, the
Yes,
show where we are ranking all the James Bond movies, as many of them as we can stand.
correct.
Tonight we're doing.
As the lunchbox says, we're doing Thunderball.
He thrills me, he kills me, he gives me the feeling maybe it's love.
I think you got the point.
Charms me, disarms me when he looks in my eyes and tells me it's love.
All right, so Thunderball, 1965. The film follows Bond's mission to find two NATO atomic bombs stolen by Spectre, which holds the world ransom to the tune of 100 million in diamonds, under threat of destroying an unspecified metropolis in either the United Kingdom or the United States. And Bond has to stop them from following through so the world doesn't have to donate 100 million in diamonds.
What are we up to? Is this the fourth one?
This is the fourth
The
movie.
fourth one.
Yep.
Okay.
So, of course, Sean Connery returns for his fourth outing as James Bond. We have Claudine Auger as the Bond girl Domino. Adolfo Celi as Emilio Largo, our baddie. Spectre
like
number two.
Bobby and Bacall.
Yes. Luciana Paluzzi as Fiona Volpe, Spectre assassin and head of their execution branch. Rick Van Nutter as Felix Leiter, who he looks a lot more debonair than his name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guy Dolman as Count Lippy, who's Spectre number 4. And, of course, the usual players, Bernard Lee, Desmond Llewellyn, Lois Maxwell. We get a lot of minor henchmen played by various Italian people. And
I guess that's one way to put it.
or French. They're either French or Italian, either
Yeah.
way. So that's our main cast for tonight's movie, Thunderball.
All right. So, should we get into the rating?
Let's get into the ratings.
I'm gonna give it a 003.
Okay.
I give it a 003 because it was just kind of okay for me. It wasn't like an elaborate layout. The elaborate layout for me was it just happened to have a rocket pack laying around that he could change to take off because we had a rocket pack to show off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't. It's not my favorite by far.
Okay.
Opening title.
Okay. I'm going to rate it a 006. One off because of the rocket pack. Although I mean, it was on loan, I think, from NASA at the time. But I like the beginning because it's very much a spy story. So
Yeah.
he's exposing the fact that Jacques Bouvier, who is a Spectre agent, he exposes that he's faking his own funeral. I like the movie starts with the JB on the casket, so you think James Bond is dead.
Mhm.
I love the fight. I just like the fight in the very French.
They wrecked so much.
They
stuff
did.
In that room.
They destroyed millions of dollars in antiques.
Yep.
And I think that he ruthlessly kills Bouvier for killing off so many of his friends, as he says. James Bond says it. So, and then I also like that you get a little bit more of the Aston Martin that was featured in Goldfinger. So for that, I give it a 006. But yeah, just the fact that the rocket pack is laying up on the roof, it seems kind of silly.
It's like save that stuff for Roger Moore.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. How about the theme song for Thunderball?
You mean the theme song?
The theme, yes. The theme song of theme song?
The theme song of theme songs. Tom Jones's Thunderball. What's it gonna be?
Couldn't guess.
Couldn't guess.
Yeah.
Funny story about Tom Jones.
Okay.
First of all, he's one of my favorites. When back in the day, when me and Michael and Steve and Constance all went to go see him at the good old Holiday Star.
Oh wow. Yes.
Uh,
Yes. Rest in peace. Rest in power.
Rest in power.
Yeah.
I remember I was explaining to my mom that I was going
Mm.
to go see Tom Jones because my mom is also a fan, and apparently she forgot the words that were coming out of my mouth because about 2 months later, like I was explaining how yeah, and then after we went to go see Tom Jones, we did X Y Z, and she's like, "Wait a minute, you went to go see Tom Jones?" And I'm like, I told you I was going to see Tom. Well, I'm giving you some money for a T-shirt.
Oh,
Yeah, but the funnier the funny part of that story for me is like when before we went to go
Mhm.
see him, we all ate at like Denny's,
Okay.
and Constance goes to the ladies' room, and while she's in there, the one of the waitresses was talking to one of the customers and asking the customer where she was going and stuff,
Mhm.
and she explained, I'm going to see the Tom Jones concert.
Mm.
So the waitress was like, hold on just a minute. So the waitress goes into a stall, takes her panties off,
Oh, no.
gives it to the lady,
Wow.
and said, will you, throw your panties? Because it rains panties.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a myth.
Right.
It rains panties at a TJ concert.
Yeah.
So the last thing I want is for my mom to have handed me her underpants. So here, throw these for mom,
Oh, son, could you throw my underwear up on stage?
Well, I would have been in therapy after that. That was too much. But no, man, the Thunderball theme song, that's my go-to. It's my shower song. It's my cleaning house song.
Mhm.
It's just it's I hate to use the word iconic, man, but when you think Bond, you at least I do.
Yeah.
You think Thunderball.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with a 007 as well. It's classic, and for more than just, I mean, the song itself. I love the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
I love that they figured out how to put the word Thunderball in a song.
Yes.
um, but I also really like, this is the Maurice Binder. With the scene I like a lot with everyone swimming
Yeah.
underwater, and then
Yeah.
the explosion, the cannonball exploding
Yep.
red, and also the all the underwater explosions during it. So for me, it's probably one of the best. You could tell they had a lot more money for this. So I
Mm-hmm.
think I complained last time about Goldfinger just being, scenes of the movie shot on gold women.
Mm-hmm.
This really upped it.
Yeah.
This kind of set the tone for the rest of the movies,
Yeah.
and so did this song. And then the other thing I like too is with the song is what becomes the incidental music throughout the rest of the movie
Mm-hmm.
is really good and
Mm-hmm.
based on Thunderball. So
Yeah.
for me, it's like one of the best ones that they pick up the themes from the song
Mm-hmm.
throughout the whole movie. So yeah, I love it. I
Yeah.
love, and Tom Jones just belts it out.
Yeah, I'm pretty convinced that you remember the Dos Equis most interesting
Oh
man in
yeah,
the world.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure Thunderball was the inspiration for
Yes,
those
correct,
commercials.
correct.
Okay, plot and locations. I'm gonna give them collectively a 005.
Okay.
It it would be a little bit higher for me, but it's a great plot. The
Mhm.
the idea that the extortion, the global extortion
Yeah.
through nuclear arms. But the problem I had with it is for a ticking clock,
Mm-hmm.
it it just seems to kind of move along kind of slow.
Okay.
And it doesn't focus on, to me, and
Mhm.
that's just me, it doesn't focus enough on the tension of the building clock. Anytime you hear anything about it, it seems to be in the background, like on the news,
Mhm.
I almost said Uncle Ben, you know, Big Ben chimes 7 times,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was like, it needed to be a little more to the forefront, I think.
Okay. Um, I I give it a 006. Um,
Okay.
so for me, it's the classic. I mean, it puts the E in Spectre. If E means extortion for Spectre, then this is definitely. I like the fact that it is a very straightforward, simple plot.
Yeah. Yeah.
We extort money. They spend the whole classic Spectre agent scene with how much money they've been extorting, and now
Mm.
we're going to extort. This is our first really big extorting, and so I kind of like that idea. I love how um, they get the nuclear missiles, how that goes into the plot. I like the fact that we get one of my favorite scenes is where the 00 agents, all 9 of them, are sitting and being briefed,
Mhm.
and so we actually get to see where
Yes.
the 009 where the 00s go.
Yeah, it's not just one
Just not
guy.
one, yeah. And so I think for me, it's not the part at the end because I think what's weird is the time factors because it seems like I mean the movie really only takes place in a couple days, but it
Mhm.
doesn't feel like a couple days. I think
Mhm.
that's the problem with the ticking clock.
Yeah.
So that it feels like he spends a couple nights in Nassau when he really shouldn't have been able to.
Yeah.
I think that's the confusing part. But for me, the slow part is the beginning.
Yeah.
The clinic drags, I
Yeah.
think.
It's almost not necessary.
Yeah, yeah.
Excuse me.
The clinic scene really, really drags.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of weird that he's on this restful holiday.
Mhm.
I also I'm not sure that jet could have landed in one piece like it did. That seemed pretty amazing. I understand, I know, but I mean, unless that guy was,
Rocket pack.
yeah, yeah, I know, but it's the only
Yeah.
thing because it lands perfectly.
That thing would have hit water and
Yeah,
shattered.
yeah. Um, but what I do like about the plot
Mhm.
is the fact that there's a lot of Spectre henchmen and even 00 agents working on this, and so there's a lot of people getting killed, assassinating, fighting each other. I mean, you get the huge underwater battle scene at the end.
That's what elevated it for
Yeah,
me because
yeah,
it was hovering on a 5, and
yeah,
then the underwater fight scene
yeah.
with so many extras and so much technical stuff
Right.
to get them to be able to breathe and whatnot,
Yeah.
and the fact that it goes on as long as it does
Hmm.
bumped it up to a 006 for me.
Yeah, I think the fact that this is the first 2-hour Bond movie, you can feel it in bits
Mm,
that maybe they could have cut it a little bit
yeah,
more. But I just love one of my favorite scenes is where Count Lippy is chasing Bond trying to kill him, but then Spectre is chasing Lippy killing him.
yeah, yeah.
And so, although it makes you wonder where do they keep getting all these Spectre agents? Because I don't know if I'd want to work for them.
Henchman, man.
Yeah, henches. Yeah, they hench. Yeah. I mean, and of course, I thought it would bother. I thought it'd be lower tonight because this is definitely the movie that Austin Powers spoofs the most,
Big time.
big time.
Yep.
And so, from the electric chair exploding
Yeah.
to the I want frickin' lasers on the sharks
Yes.
to number 2. And so, but it didn't bother me in this watching it tonight. It
Yeah.
didn't like I think maybe Austin Powers is fading into the background now, so it did not knock it down for me. So I was happy about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, but a very simple. And then as far as locations, it really, I mean, you figure with the last few movies, it's been all over the world. Now it stays pretty much in the Bahamas. That's it. You get
Yeah.
the Bahamas, you get France in the Bahamas, and then a little bit of Miami in the very end battle scene.
All right.
And so that. But I'm not one that needs the travel log.
No,
My
and
mom
that's
used to.
really
My mom loved the travel part of it,
sure.
all the different cities you'd see.
Yeah.
But this one, I like the plot was very focused. So
What did it for me, and the reason why I didn't mind the fact that he wasn't globetrotting and
Yeah.
like you said, traveloguing, is is how beautiful
oh yeah, yeah.
the world looks
yeah,
on camera.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It just
It
looks
looked great.
really nice.
It looked great. Yeah. So no. So I'll stick with the 006 for the plot.
I'm gonna give villain slash henchman 006.
Okay.
Adolfo Seeley
Mm-hmm.
he's perfect for me. He is
Oh,
what I think of when I think of a classic Bond villain,
Oh,
right down to the eye patch
Mm-hmm.
and that profile and just how ruthless he is. And I mean, there's so much about him, and it's funny too because apparently in '67 when they made Operation 0007, when they brought in Neil Connery, Sean
Right.
Connery's brother, to make this movie where they made him look like Sean Connery, they liked Adolfo so much they brought him in as the heavy guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and, I mean it's a terrible movie. I mean MST 3000 did a fantastic job with it,
Mm-hmm.
but they liked him so much they brought him in as, and sometimes I mix the two up,
Yeah.
because I've seen I've seen both about the same amount of times. But I love Adolfo Seeley as the heavy, and I love his Kraftwerk henchman.
Yes.
All in black with the
Yes.
sunglasses,
Yes. And Dita from, yeah, we're here to make you dance.
and Claude Akins.
Yes.
It's-
Yeah. Claude Akins and Dieter. Yeah. Yeah, the Kraftwerk look was great.
Yeah.
I'm going to give the villains and henchmen, I'm going to bump it up to 007 for
Oh.
me. So for two big reasons. So I also like the Kraftwerk kind of cookie cutter henchmen.
Mhm.
But what I thought was interesting is there's so many henchmen in this, but they each get their own kind of personality. I mean,
Yeah.
Count Lippy is a full character.
Yep.
He has an arc in the story, so he's very successful at first, but he can't get Bond killed, so he ends up getting killed. You get the major, who the guy who gets the plastic surgery, and he decides to play a little bit of extortion against Spectre, so he gets killed. Um, I do like Vargas. He's the one. He's Dieter, who ends up getting the harpoon. But it just they're like just one line, the whole line. Look at Dieter. He does not eat. He does not sleep. He does not make love to women. What do you do, Dieter?
That's right.
And so I mean, I just that little line of like that's all you need to know about him.
Mhm.
But for me, who puts it way over the top to number 7 is Fiona Volpe, the femme fatale extraordinaire. The fact that she is one of the top people in the, I mean, execution branch of Spectre.
Mhm.
And I love how ruthless she is. And so and I looked at and I thought so. It's what I say, she's the kind of the Scarlet Fox.
Yeah.
And so which is what her name means. And I love the fact how ruthless she is. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think
I almost made her a Bond girl. I was torn between making her
Okay.
a Bond girl and
Right.
making her one of the bad guys
Yeah.
because she's a little bit of both.
Interestingly enough, she interviewed. She was trying to get the job to be Domino,
Hmm.
so she was second in line to be Domino. Then they went with Claudia Auger instead. Although I
We'll
mean,
get to her in a minute.
there were a bunch of there were a bunch of they were going a totally different direction for
Mhm.
Domino. So there were I think 4 or 5 actresses, but once they got down to looking at Italian actresses, she auditioned for the role of Domino.
Okay.
So yeah, so technically she kind of does feel like a Bond girl.
Yeah.
But she's sort of the evil Bond girl.
Yeah, I did eventually throw her into the Bond girl,
Okay, so that's fine.
but
Okay.
what I do like about her is she's crazy.
Oh yeah.
She's a speed freak.
Mhm.
She's ruthless. She's great
Yeah.
as a villain or villainess.
I also love her line. And I'm not sure if it was done on purpose in the plot in the text, but when he tries to seduce her early on, and
Mm.
he says, "Well, what I did for King and Country," and then she says, mocks him for the whole, "Oh, poor James Bond, you use the woman, you seduce them, and they come running back to you, they give up their villainous ways. Well, that doesn't work for me." It was a very direct, I thought, like critique of Pussy Galore. Like you're not gonna, because that was our problem with Pussy Galore. It's how quickly she turned.
Yeah,
And I love that Fiona Volpe says, "Absolutely not. No, I'm
yeah,
it didn't work on me either. Don't
yeah.
don't don't think I'm going to convert." But so no, she for me, counting her as a henchman, I put it to that she brought up to 007 for
Yeah.
me. But Largo is classic. Largo is the classic.
I mean, look at that.
Yeah, I mean he's just
that's a villain.
yeah, and he's physical too.
Yeah,
So he's not like we get later on. He's not a slovenly.
yeah,
He is a strong swimmer, fighter.
yep.
I mean, he is a shark. He keeps sharks, and he is a shark.
So our Bond girl for me is a 006.
Okay.
Not just because she's like everything you think of
Mhm.
when you think of a Bond girl. I liked her story.
Yeah.
I liked how tied into the story she was. She wasn't just like
She's not eye candy.
yeah, and she's not just dude's like pet,
Right.
you know. She actually has a whole plot because it deals with the pilot,
Her brother being the pilot.
her brother being what was it, Francois,
Francois.
with Francois, and just how tightly woven she is into the plot. I thought was really cool for the being in the fourth movie.
Mhm.
I thought she worked really well.
All right, for me, so Holly Ryder is your Bond girl. Domino is my Bond girl, so she is 007. For exactly what you said, she's, I think because she is no Honey Rider.
Yeah,
She might swim, she might
yeah,
get starfish and shells, but she is a full, she too rejects Bond.
yeah.
From the minute he tries to pull his crap with her, she immediately shuts him down.
Hmm.
And so she's not a pushover. She's not eye candy. She's not a damsel to be rescued.
Yeah.
Um, although she gets rescued, it's not by Bond, it's by the little nerdy scientist guy.
Sim-
And then she ends up killing the villain in the end. I
yeah.
mean, so
Yeah.
to say she saves Bond.
Yeah.
And the fact that I think she's smart, she's tough, she yeah, she has a total arc in the storyline. She kind of knows what she is. She sort of fell for, Largo,
Hmm.
and now she knows she's a kept woman and doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Um and so I think uh she to me is like the proto, like she'll eventually make the Michelle Yeoh character like the very just this is a woman who stands on her own,
Hmm.
and I just love the fact that it's her that kills Largo at the end.
Yeah.
So that 007.
I had forgotten she kills him.
Yeah, I love
You
it.
know,
Yeah,
I couldn't remember how that little bit ended,
yeah,
but then when you hear the spear,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
She does him in the end. So yep, 007 for me.
oh yeah, what is it? She says something like, I didn't want to kill him," and she's like, Bond is like, "I'm glad you
Glad you
did."
did. Yes, exactly. Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Cars, gadgets, miscellaneous stuff, gear.
Hmm.
I'm going to give it a 005.
Okay.
Mostly because we fall into the problem, not problem, but just the how it's nothing is really like super advanced except that silly rocket pack, which
Hmm.
is why it's not a 6 for me. So I kind of the rocket pack kind of bumped it down a little. Uh, Side note, Q was great in this.
Yeah,
It
it
really,
is
I
great.
mean, up until this point, you, I get the feeling that Bond just fucks with him.
But I think he
You
he
know,
knows it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I don't he's not exactly angry about it.
yeah,
He's less angry now than he was in,
yeah.
say, the first three movies.
And that shirt, his
Oh yeah,
Hawaiian shirt
I
was
see.
fire.
Yeah, he was great. He was great. All right, I'm gonna go with a 006. Again, I agree. Rocket Pack brings it down one, but for me, I love the fact that the Aston Martin gets a second appearance and
Hmm.
has more gadgets in it.
Hmm.
So I love that. I also like, as I'm watching the movie, I'm trying to remember in my head that all the underwater, the vehicles and everything that shoots harpoons, like that was unheard of at the time.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, we're used to it now, and even more famously, like in Spy Who Loved Me, they used pretty
Hmm.
much the same vehicles. But like those gadgets. So it's only Bond isn't the only one with gadgets,
Yeah.
So the villains have gadgets, and so
I
I
think
thought
that might have been it for me too, was there was so much of it
there's a
that
lot.
I just became kind of like numb to it after
Okay,
a while.
okay.
But yeah.
I mean, I like the fact that still everything is pretty basic. I like the fact that we go from in Doctor No, he has to order a giant Geiger counter from Q. Well,
Mhm.
now it's a watch,
Yeah.
and so I kind of like the progression.
Yeah.
And so it's very simple. It's a watch.
Yeah.
It's an underwater camera, which it only takes black and white photos.
Yeah.
He's got the little breather device,
Yeah.
the simple homing pill. But what really bumps it up for me to number 6 is the fact that I count the Disco Volante as a
Bruh.
It's the coolest. The
Yes.
fact that it means, so I looked it up. It's Italian for flying saucer.
Yes.
So I'm just like, that's so
Yeah.
cool. So the fact that it's designed to have the bottom hole that opens up, he uses it to smuggle.
Mhm.
It's got the fast boat that takes off from the back that has
Yeah,
guns on it.
that
Yeah,
detachment thing is like the
yeah.
most Johnny Quest thing.
Yes, that's
It's
exactly why I love it. It's
so
Johnny
good.
Quest.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for me the gadgets, like, if it weren't for the rocket pack, it'd be a 7. But for me, that Disco Volante was the coolest gadget in the whole movie.
I love his underwater watch that they haven't quite figured out how to put a light in. It
Yes,
does
yes,
everything but lights up underwater. He's got the
correct,
flashlight so you
correct.
can see what it is.
Yes,
Yeah. This one's gonna hurt.
yeah.
I give it a 004.
Mhm.
And the reason why I give it a 004 is the quips were weak.
Mhm.
He never really seemed to be in danger. We like it, at least I do, when he's like
Mhm.
when there seems to be like a level of like, I mean, you know he's gonna make it out,
Yeah,
but there's never that like overwhelming feeling that he's in any kind of danger. His Kirk Fu was kind of silly compared to some of the fight scenes from the earlier movies.
mhm.
Like when they're getting their suits on, he runs up and he gives the guy the karate chop and drags him off. It's like Roger Moore watched that and he's like, "That's how I'm gonna do
That's
it."
what I do. Yeah, and
Um,
John Pertwee watched it too.
yeah, 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 and yes, I know it was a product of its time, but the girl in the spa,
Yeah,
I got him. I'm bumping it down just a little. He's so much of a horn dog in this movie,
he is.
and it's like enough already.
Yeah.
Maybe pump the brakes a little bit.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I'm giving it a 004.
I also knocked him down to a 004.
Hey, look at that.
And yeah, he doesn't seem to. I have to agree with Domino. Domino says in the end, "Oh, you just make love to me to get me to cooperate with you."
Mhm.
And he's like, "No, no, no. You got to think about the big picture." No, he can't even lie to her that he. No, I'm using you too.
We
That
even
yeah,
knew he
yeah,
was
yeah,
lying.
yeah. He was lying to everybody in this
Yeah.
movie. And so at to me, I think that what's weird is he seems to treat all of them equally bad.
Yeah.
So he's no different with with Holly Ryder, he was different than the
Mhm.
other women in the movie.
Mhm.
With in the next two in Goldfinger, he's different with the different women that he's
Mhm.
with. I mean, he even has a girlfriend, for God's sake,
Yeah.
or at least a steady piece. And so and I wrote down in this one he's a bit rapey. So he's just a bit.
Yeah.
I don't like. He just really doesn't. There's a line that he says that this is, I think, what brings it down to a 4. Um, Largo's asking him about what Largo's passions are when he's talking about Vargas, and he says what his passions are.
Mhm.
Mine is fishing,
Yeah.
and Bond says I'm not a passionate man. And this movie, more than any of the other Bond films, makes him the most dispassionate
Yeah.
bastard.
Yeah.
And so I don't. But unfortunately, I felt like he was growing in each movie. This one, he seems to move backwards.
Yeah.
Now, I know historically this was supposed to be the first movie, and so, but they couldn't imagine supporting it with the budget they had.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if plot wise he was written more as
That's true.
yeah, because
Yeah.
he seems more retro Bond.
Right. Like take another pass or two at the script before you
Yeah,
put the movie out.
yeah.
After if you've held off to the fourth movie instead.
Right. So they had it all ready to go as number one, and then all the lawsuits hit
Mhm.
now, and so that I think kind of throws it off for me.
Yeah.
But I think he's also just he is. I but I don't count. I didn't count this under him. I counted under the plot. He really is a spy in this one. He's doing a lot of spy work.
Yeah.
He's way more active in this movie than he is in Goldfinger.
Mhm.
He's not passive in this movie. And then I also like the fact that they've just gone ahead and when he's messing with Goldfinger, Goldfinger doesn't really know who he is. And this one, when he's messing with Largo knows exactly who he is.
Yeah.
They know who each other are.
Yeah.
There's no hiding it when they're playing Chemin de Fer. There's no hiding it. So I like the fact that and it's actually going to be a plot point in the next the next Bond movie. So I like the fact that it's just becoming everybody knows he's a spy. There's no
Yeah.
hiding it anymore.
Yeah.
All right, so now with the magic of editing, we're going to add up our numbers as always.
Oh, yeah.
We have to add.
Yeah, I gotta grab
do some
okay.
math. Yeah,
Gotta
let's do
plan.
that. So,
What's the high score?
the highest score you can get is a 49.
Oh, all right.
Yep. Cool. Try and see how good. All right, so Paul, 1965's Thunderball, out of a total score of 0049, what do you give it?
Um, I, this is the craziest part about ranking stuff
Mhm.
this way. As much as I enjoy this movie, it is not even close to my highest rank.
Oh wow.
It comes in at a 0036.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So mine is the highest one so far.
Oh.
So this is 0043 for me. And so I think that rates had I not thought about some things tonight, I mean, coming into this, I would have thought this was a 0049 for me because it's
Mhm.
one of my favorites.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, but watching it, I noticed a lot more things in it this time. So
Yeah.
that unfortunately drag it down a bit. So ironically enough, for Sean Connery, this is the highest grossing. It actually still is the highest grossing Bond movie of all time, as far as like if you adjust it for
Sure.
inflation.
Yeah.
So this is his #1 money making movie.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up another episode of Moonraker. I'm Paul.
I'm Mark, and just like James Bond, we will return with the next one being You Only Live Twice.
You only live twice.
Neil Connery is too much. He has such beautiful friends.
He wants me, he knows how to make a girl fall in love.
He has such beautiful enemies.
This is to be the one for me, the one for me. Anyone can see he is the
Neil Connery is too much in Operation Kid Brother. Operation Kid Brother is too much for one mother.
Shall we go right to the ratings? Would you like to hear a plot summary first?
Hello?
Oh, no.
No.
No. No.